Never seen a smile so big on my little old lady's face until I tell her I'm going fishing all weekend. Pack up all of my bacon, I make plans for 7:45, and I swing around, pick up my date for the weekend. Some reason she seems to please when I'm leaving. There's something I'm missing when I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing.
Well, good evening, friends. How are we tonight? Hopefully everybody had a fantastic New Year's Eve and New Year's, as well as a Christmas. If you haven't visited since before Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to all of you. Yes, Rachel, Happy New Year, fishing peeps. Jeremy, absolutely. Nice to see you. David's in the house. Bradford, oh, there's a bunch of you here. Holy smokes. Great seeing you. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. The show and the length of the show is really going to have a lot to do with you folks. Unfortunately, Jim isn't going to be with us tonight. Not really sure what to say or what's going on, other than everybody knows what's going on with Tammy. It sounds like they did manage to find a bed and get a hurry on or speed up her operation. So some good news that way. But our thoughts are definitely with Jim and Tammy and the rest of the family, as I'm sure, they're on pins and needles hoping that this operation is a success. But big shout out thought. I can't say enough about the big man. And I know he wears his heart on his sleeve sometimes, but I know he's anxious about this. So Jim, if you're listening, dude, as I said, can't thank you enough for all you do for our community, and our thoughts are with you. And as I said, this show will be dedicated to Jim and Tammy in hopes that they get some very much needed good news, because if anything, I'm sure it wasn't exactly a restful holiday for them, but needless to say, it sounds like we're getting treatment, or Tammy's getting treatment. So hopefully we can have some good news real soon for you folks. Again, how was everybody's New Year's? What did you guys do? What were you guys up to? I do want to thank everybody who participated in our youth event, and a big shout out. I can't thank these lads enough. Walter and Steve Shaw for the Young Angler Photo Challenge that went on just before Christmas, it ended just after Christmas. And again, congratulations to Riley, Dane Marion, Jacob Landry, and of course, Katie Jackson. We're going to be putting your prizes together real soon, and we'll be getting that stuff out to you. But a big shout out, thank you to two in particular. Sorry, that's not the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. Steve and Walter, big shout out to you folks for doing so much with that youth angler contest giveaway. It was absolutely amazing, and I'll tell you, the participation and the new names that we got to see was off the charts. But on behalf of all the legacy members here at CFN, we want to wish everybody a happy New Year. And I'll tell you, we got some great things planned for the new year. Again, I hate mentioning the word, but it's everywhere around us. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm hoping we're going to be able to do our meet and greet. It's going to be with Jen Harlow and Scott Lattin from the Fishing Fanatics. And as I said, I'm hoping we're going to be able to get together. As of right now, I think it's down to 10 outside when it comes to gatherings. I believe that's where we're at right now. So I'm hoping it doesn't get any bigger or should I say any smaller than that. But it is getting worse out there. So we do have to pay heed. And if you are going or looking to go, we will definitely be making an announcement in the next little bit to confirm the date, what to bring, what to expect, how safe the ice is, because I know a lot of people want to know how safe that ice is out there. And as of right now, I can honestly say anybody who isn't fishing should be fishing by this weekend. Temperatures, I don't know if you guys have seen the weather. Temperatures are supposed to just plummet if they haven't already in your area. I know out west you guys are dealing with some ridiculous cold weather. So I know you guys have lots of ice, but out this way, of course, we are still Jones and still waiting and looking forward to perhaps maybe this weekend being our first. Mike Council is with me tonight. He's going to make an announcement in regards to the Winter Fish Fest. We have some great news in regards to that, as well as where we're at with our CFN Fish Off Season 3, as well as a bunch of other things that Mike wanted to talk about. So before we do, I just want to show, as I said, we are just so honored to have sponsors returning like Camp McIntosh this year, Ugly Boys Baits, and of course North Shore Tackle, who have confirmed that they're returning for 2022. And of course, Shimano has done the same. But I just want to show you this. Our editing team, the kids and Mike do an absolutely fantastic job. So before we bring Mike in, I want to show you the ad they put together that includes all of you. Have a look.
Gotta love Shimano products.
Gotta love Shimano.
Gotta love Shimano. Have my Shimano hat here.
Gotta love Shimano.
Gotta love Shimano. Gotta love Shimano.
Gotta love Shimano. Shimano bag right here. Gotta love Shimano.
Gotta love Shimano.
Gotta love Shimano.
Shimano rules. Just using my new Shimano Convergence I picked up on the weekend. So, hey, that's a bonus.
Gotta love that new Shimano Symetra RH. Gotta love Shimano.
Gotta love Shimano. Show off your Shimano pliers.
You gotta love your Shimano. Oh, nice thing.
Gotta
Gotta love Shimano. Got my Shimano 2500 HG FX right here.
Shimano rules. Fish on, guys.
Well, Mike,
Happy New Year, bud.
Happy New Year to you as well, my friend. And, when we were speaking this afternoon, we vowed, or we made it our vow, that both of us are going to try and get out on the water a little bit more than we did.
Gotta do more fishing in 2022 for sure. And
I will say this, you can't do any less.
That is true. But I did want to shout out Big Jim and Tammy. So prayers to them before we start anything. But yeah, I gotta wet the line a little bit more. But the reason why is because we have these online tournaments, this community building, the TV show. It's sometimes hard to find the time to wet the line. But 2022, new PBs, new species, more fish. That is
we were talking about it, Mike, that this past season was absolutely phenomenal. It's hard to imagine that we're we could potentially better our year this year coming, but I'll tell you, this past season, it's quite a show. That's about all I can say. It's an amazing show. It pretty much comes down to the last fishing trip, last couple of fish entered. It's very, very close, but I know we keep saying it year after year. This one definitely was close. Our first one came down to the last fish caught. This is almost as close.
Yeah, it was 3 captains. Each captain had 3 team members, a total of 12 anglers all the way across the nation, including Nunavut. So it is going to be a good show. Got word back from the network, and it usually airs Q1 and Q2. So like this week would be the first episode, but they're changing the schedule up a bit. It'll be Q2 and Q3, which is even better because those 2 quarters is when they get the most viewers. So come around March, April, I got to check when Q2 starts. That's when season 3 of the CFN Fish Off will be airing episode 1.
Very, very cool, Mike. But we also have something to announce it hasn't happened yet, and we are not gladly editing any of it, or at least a good portion of it. But we do have the Winter Fish Fest that could possibly be going in the month of February. Tell us a little bit about what you have thought about and what you've been working on behind the scenes.
The Winter Fish Fest 2022 is officially happening on February 1st. So from February 1st all the way to February 28th will be the tournament timeline for the Winter Fish Fest. So any species that you catch, and we'll release more details in the next coming weeks, but it'll be those species within those dates that you need to catch in order to qualify for a whole bunch of CFN prize packs. But the new thing this year, and this is what Scotty's alluding to, is that we've partnered with Anglers Atlas and the My Catch app to bring you the Winter Fish Fest. So if you're not aware, just Google Anglers Atlas. They do have a whole bunch of other tournaments running, but we've partnered with them for two reasons. One, can we make the process of the CFN Spring Fish Off easier, more convenient for both the community, all the anglers, and the judges? And we're just trying to streamline the process. So we're going to use the Winter Fish Fest as the testing ground. And if the community says, my gosh, this Anglers Atlas My Catch app makes entering the CFN Fish Off so much easier, then we'll run with it come the springtime. So we'll test it out in the Winter Fish Fest, February 1st to February 8th. All you got to do is, one, go to anglersatlas.com. It's not live yet, but you'll have to go to anglersatlas.com, download the My Catch app, and all your submissions will be done with the My Catch app. So it's actually pretty simple. Rather than opening your phone app, you would just open the My Catch app and film all your catches using the My Catch app. And I know our judges are going to love it. And I think the community is going to love it too, because it'll be much simpler in terms of entering the competition.
Well, I think it's really cool for three reasons. The one reason is it includes video, which is big for you and I when it comes to building community, as well as just getting to see all the fish, making sure the entries are legit, this, that, and everything else. So the video really helped out. The second thing is, I'm really happy to say that the app is not going to cost our participants any money. We want to remain free and available to all anglers when it comes to our CFN Fish Off events. So we're able to maintain that with Anglers Atlas. So we want to thank those people for that. And of course, third, and I'll be honest, this is the best reason. When I found out that some of the entries, if not all the entries, can be used for fish biology research, and some of our biologists are out there using some of the information that comes into Anglers Atlas. And for that, I mean, that's one of our platforms for our mission statement is, somehow creating a liaison arrangement between anglers and those who are in the know and our biologists and MNR. Because I think once we're able to sort of shorten the gap, if you will, I think we're going to learn a lot more about our fisheries than we already know. So very, very cool, Mike, that we managed to get that put together.
Yep, research and education. And it should be easier for our tournament participants as well. So for all those reasons, we'll try it out. And I'm pretty sure that come springtime, people are going to use, I hope you're going to be using that My Catch Anglers Atlas app again for the CFN Spring Fish Off, because it was amazing during the Winter Fish Fest. So that is the plan. Before the end of next week, everything will be live. You'll have to do two things. You'll have to go to anglersatlas.com to register, and then you'll have to download the app, and then come February 1st, all your catches will need to be filmed with the Anglers Atlas My Catch app.
Cool. Very, very, very cool. I like how they're looking to tailor it to CFN, which I think is really, really cool. So as I said, yeah, that's a great announcement in itself, but it's also great to announce that we're going to have yet another event, which of course could potentially be the Winter Fish Fest if our buddy COVID doesn't pay a visit.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm pretty sure the ice will be good February 1st to 28th. But remember, it is the Winter Fish Fest. It's not an ice fish fest. So you might have some open water wherever you are. Maybe you want to catch some rainbows in a river. So February 1st to 28th, Winter Fish Fest. Fingers crossed that our nation and our politicians allow us to, there's not too many restrictions that would prevent it happening. Fingers crossed.
And in the meantime, just so you guys know, guys and gals know that if there are prizes outstanding that you have not received, please let us know. As of right now, I believe we have 4 or 5 that I still have to revisit and get done this week. So as I said, fingers crossed. We're not as fast as we'd like to be, but as you can tell, there's just so much going on. And Mike, do you want to mention anything about the thing you're wearing, or do you want to save that for another time?
Yep. So our Fall Brawl prizes, they've pretty much been all shipped out, other than the apparel that we're shipping out to the winners, because we're still waiting for the apparel to come. But people, and Scotty was asking, Mike, what are you wearing? Well, this is the first time anyone is seeing it. So this is the first time Rob is seeing it, or Jeremy, or Erica, or Douglas, or Tony, or Tyler. This is the new CFN. And it's not just Canadian Fishing Network hoodie, it's the CFN Fish Off hoodie. So let me show you the front. We have hoodies that look like this in the past, but we also have this awesome CFN iconic logo right there. And this is our first zip hoodie. So there's the hood, there's the zip, there's the inside. It's so nice and soft. And this is the first CFN apparel ever made that has, and let me show you the back. Can you see that, Scotty? Am I in the right position?
Oh my Lord, yes. Holy smokes.
So let me take it off and I can show it better. We have a bunch of CFN gear, but we have never had any CFN Fish Off apparel. So this will be exclusive for this year. And right there, that is direct to garment. If you close your eyes and you feel this garment, you will feel nothing, because that is printed direct to garment. So
looks beautiful, buddy.
that will be available on the CFN Fish Off website. You'll be able to order it up until the Winter Fish Fest, so that come the springtime, when we have the Spring Fish Off, our huge nationwide tournament, you'll be able to have this, wear it, and show it off during all your videos for the CFN Spring Fish Off. So from now till the end of January, we will make these available. All you have to do is pre-order, and we are still working out the final price, but it'll be cheaper than any CFN hoodie we have ever offered, plus shipping. So it'll be cheaper than anything we've ever offered, and it'll be the very first time that we have CFN Fish Off on any apparel.
So I knew this question was going to come up if somebody was watching, and I'm gonna pose you. I'm gonna put you on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Mark Albeck is asking, are those the Fall Brawl prizes?
They are not the Fall Brawl. These are brand new, Mark. Before these existed, we had the Fall Brawl apparel made. So these are not the Fall Brawl prizes. But maybe in the future they could be prizes. But that's some awesome stuff.
I think it'd be a great idea. Absolutely, Mike. Now I do have some good questions in regards to the app. Can't answer all of those questions because we are still working out some of the finer details. But one question, Steve, I'm so glad you asked this. Are the catches still going to be posted on the CFN Fish Off page if folks choose to? It's actually not going to be a choice. It's still going to be mandatory. What we are hoping to do, and again, fingers crossed, I'm not 100% sure, but we're hoping that the app will allow us to upload straight to the page. If it's not, it will be, unfortunately, one more step that our anglers will have to take and upload it to the page.
Yeah, it will definitely be a second step, but it's exactly the same thing. Rather than using your camera, all you're doing is using the app. But the step that you don't have to do is you don't have to go to the website to enter your catches. So before, you have to open your camera app, take your video, pictures if you wanted, and then go to Facebook upload your video, and then go to the website and enter your catches. It'll eliminate the step of going to the website and entering your catches.
Yeah.
However, we still want you to upload your video to the Facebook page, because that's how the community gets involved. That's where I see Mark Elbeck's fish and be like, damn, that's a big perch. That's where I see, Dave Sanderson's fish or Jeremy's daughter's fish, and other people can comment. The app doesn't allow that. We need Facebook and our huge community to create that community atmosphere around the tournament, but it'll save a step. You'll no longer have to go to the website to input your entries, because the app will do it automatically.
And it would be cool if the app would be able to upload straight to the page. But again, that is not a for sure, but we are working with them in hopes that we can do that. Jeremy's saying what an easy process it was. He used it when he was fishing against Uncut Angling. Wow. Good for you, Jeremy. How did you do?
How did you do, Jeremy? Did you beat everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they have a bunch of different tournaments on the app. So this will be their newest tournament. And you tell us whether you want to continue using it. Does it make it easier for the spring fish off?
And Jeremy's asking about Ronald Coloresi. You're 100% right. Ronald was diagnosed with COVID. Our thoughts are with our good buddy Ron from across the pond. I'm hoping that he's comfortable. I haven't seen much of him on Facebook today, so perhaps today's a worse day than before. But it's out there. We're going to be dealing with it. It doesn't matter if you're vaccinated, you're not vaccinated. You're going to get this thing. I'm almost convinced of it. So for all those that haven't got it yet, stay safe, stay mindful, and hopefully it's nowhere near as bad as it's been in the past. But definitely more contagious. I don't know about more dangerous, but it's definitely more contagious than the last ones. Anything else,
Scotty? I do see some questions. One, Jeremy, not even close. Yeah, those are good anglers over there, Jeremy. And with regards to the spring fish off, we're gonna finish the Winter Fish Fest first, February 1st to February 28th. By next week, there'll be 2 new links on the website. It'll be how to order this amazing hoodie, and there will be a link on how to register for the Winter Fish Fest. And then after the Winter Fish Fest is when we'll open registration for the Spring Fish Off. So Winter Fish Fest first, Spring Fish Off registration after that. But between now and next Monday's show, look out on the website as well as the CFN Fish Off Facebook page, because then you'll be able to order this as well as register for the Winter Fish Fest.
Great question here from Tony. Can I use 2 accounts on the app? And I did think about this. If someone already has an account with Anglers Atlas, does it matter? Will they have to sign up for a new account?
So say you are Kevin Lowen and you have 7,000 kids. He downloads the app once, but he'll be able to designate the catch for which child. I'm not sure if that answers your question, Tony, but yeah, if you have the app, you can have different users have on your account for the app. You don't have to download the app twice.
Fantastic. So yes, multiple accounts, and just make sure you have the app downloaded. I'm just going through some of the questions to see if there's anything else. Obviously, Tammy, like all of us, want to know when the Spring Fish Off start registration is going to be. We're hoping to get that to you soon. Mike, have we got an update on that or a possibility for that?
Yeah, like I said, Winter Fish Fest first.
Yeah.
Spring Fish Off registration after the Winter Fish Fest. So that won't be till after the Winter Fish Fest, because we need the Winter Fish Fest to determine whether or not we're going to continue using the app for the Spring Fish Off.
Right on. Mark is asking for the categories for the Winter Fish Fest. Did you go over that, Mike?
I haven't gone over it. We're coding everything onto the app, but there will be 4 categories and an open category, which means every single species will be available to catch. I've seen people catch massive sturgeon through the ice. That would probably win the longest fish for the open category. But for sure, there'll be perch. There will be a trout category. There will be a pike category. And there will be a sunfish category. So that would be bluegill or crappie or pumpkin seed. So those would be the 4 categories, plus the open category, which could be anything. It could be a burbot. It could be sturgeon, like I said. It could be whatever you pull out of the ice.
Well, think about it. What was it? A 7-footer last year that won the Winter Fish Fest, Mike?
Was that the big pike? No.
No, we had the big pike up there for a while that Dan caught.
Yeah.
And then Bill and Scott Nadeau, and there was a third that went out and managed to get a 7-foot sturgeon to win his biggest fish.
I can't remember. Was that sturgeon through the ice? I don't know.
It wasn't through the ice, but it looked cold enough. Put it that way. It definitely wasn't through the ice. And we're and it's funny, Mike. Like I've seen a lot of pictures, and I'm not going to mention who or where. Most of them are from the States, so I will say that that they're actually pulling these mammoth fish through these 8-inch holes, and I don't know. Doesn't seem right.
Well, Happy New Year to everyone who is watching right now. And I just want to say hi to Jason and Lawrence who are backstage. Happy New Year, fellas.
Right on, Mike. Well, listen, we will be talking a lot more in the coming weeks than we did last week because there's lots happening, lots going on, and I'm looking forward to it, Mike. It's going to be a really interesting year, but it's going to be a busy one, real busy one.
Yep. So once again, this week you will be able to register for the Winter Fish Fest and then order your CFN Fish Off hoodie, and that will be posted at some point this week. So Happy New Year, everyone, and have a great show.
Right on, buddy. You take care, Mike. All the best, my friend.
Thank you.
Peace. And here's a word from our sponsor. Hey, gents. How you guys doing?
Good, man. Good.
Fantastic. Listen, Happy New Year to you both. It would be great to have Jim here to say the exact same thing to him. But as we mentioned, they're in Ottawa, or he's in Ottawa. Tammy's in Ottawa with him. And it sounds like they moved up her surgery a little bit, which is good news. That's good news. Hopefully we also get some good news once it's done. But how'd you guys spend your New Year's holiday?
Ice fishing.
Did you really, Lawrence?
Yeah. I went out ice fishing Friday with the kids and met another family out there and with their 3 boys. So there was, I think, 8 kids and 6 adults. So it was amazing, like a beautiful day, no wind, 5-6 inches of ice, but there was just ice, right? So no snow. So we walked out 1 kilometer too. That was a bit of a riot. The kids loved it. Some of them came on skates.
That's awesome. Jay, have you been out?
Well, I logged over 20 kilometers in the bush last week hiking for steelhead.
Very good.
So landed landed a dozen, lost twice that many. Got what I think is my personal best, 32, almost 32 and 3/4 inch steelhead. So it's probably around 15 or 16 pounds.
Wow.
Beauty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beauty.
So it's a good week.
She's ready for. I think she's ready for tomorrow. I'm not sure which one of the three of us have it done, and it's actually interesting that you bring that up, because this is something that I'm going to spend a little bit more time doing. A lot of folks don't know who does the edits. And I'm proud to say that I'm surrounded by two individuals, especially. But Terry does the odd one, and of course Mark is dabbling. Ash is doing videos as well. I think it's awesome, because I think people honestly want to see how you do it, how you do it, Jay, how you do it, Mark, or what have you. And I think it's awesome that Steve and Walter are so dedicated to it. And sometimes we fight over it, sometimes we duplicate. But this past thing with the kids, again, I can't say it enough. Yeah. It's a team effort, and it was really well done. But Jay, it's awesome to see you out fishing and catching some glorious fish, bud.
Hey man, you know what's funny? I have to say this. So the edit that I posted, and it had they do such a good job. Like, the team does such a great job. They put like a Norfolk County logo in there where I live, and twice in the past week I caught that fish. When did I catch that fish? Last Tuesday or Wednesday, and then the team did the edit right away. It was done literally in hours, not days, hours. And I forget where I was. I was at my mom's dropping something off, and then somebody else's house dropping something off, and people saw me on the street and they were congratulating me, I won a prestigious award, because I shared the post and I shared the edit, and they're like, congratulations on that huge fish, that's so great. And they made it sound like I won some prestigious award, which is really cool. So those edits just go a long way, and I think I speak for, I know especially our kids have had some edits with their faces on it, and it just really means a lot to promote angling and to do it that way. I don't know. I just want to say thanks to the editors who do those, because I don't care about me, but I know for a lot of people out there who have had those edits done, it means so much to them. So kudos to the editors, and let's keep that going. I absolutely love it.
I really appreciate that, Jay, and it's interesting because Mike, who is I've known for the better part of 5-6 years now, Mike Consul, he said to me, probably it was 2 years ago, he said, you know what, Scotty, I never really understood why you spent so much time doing it, but I certainly get it now. And now that you have Walter and Steve doing it as well, and then Terry and a bunch of them helping out when they can, it just reemphasizes what it does for, like you said, the angler as well as the community. Because we don't know what it necessarily means to people, but I love when folks share it. I know the editors, that's the ultimate pat on the back, is when you make it your profile pic, or you just share it. That's the best way to say thanks, is what I'm trying to say. And going forward in the new year, I know Walter and Steve would ask me, they'd be very upset if I didn't mention it yet again. But if you do want something edited, I highly recommend that you put it in our inbox. So go to our message section on our page, hit message, and it'll ask you to upload a photo. Yeah. And what we sometimes have to do is we'll have to reach out to the people if we don't know them, ask them if we can use the photo, who's in the photo, what province you're from, in some cases, what county you're from, so we can put that in as well, Jay. But at the end of the day, if you put it in the inbox, we get to vacate all that. We don't have to address any of that. So if you can help us out by doing so, please do that. So, Jay, with the temperatures dropping, Lawrence has already rubbed our noses in it that he's been out already ice fishing. It looks as if this weekend might be the weekend.
I'm getting ready, buddy.
There you go.
We got our annual polka, ice fishing kickoff polka. Okay. I did watch Grumpy Old Men over the weekend. I am ready.
I did too, Jay. 100%. Absolutely. Yes. And really, for no other reason, Walter, was because, as I said, or Lawrence, sorry, that we're not as lucky as you, and we haven't been out on any of the hard water in search of Walters just yet, but we will be. And as I said, hopefully this weekend. I can't wait.
Soon, man, it's coming. Like, there's a lot of cold weather floating around.
I'm gonna just give a shout out to a friend of many of ours, John White. I'm gonna put his YouTube channel in the comments. John does his first ice contest with the Lake Simcoe message board, but not just that, he is out checking the ice on Simcoe and Couchiching for us. And if you guys, if you want to just stay in touch with ice conditions in Southern Ontario, and I will draw, like, Southern Ontario for me is basically like everything south of more or less Lake Simcoe, like Couchiching. Like, I know that there is some safe ice on some of the small lakes in the Minden, Haliburton area, and we're talking Southern Ontario. But the big lakes are not safe yet. But thank goodness for John. And there's a few others out there. I know Hotbox Huts does a lot of great updates, you know, and you can really support small businesses by just liking and sharing their videos. Because even if you don't go to Hotbox Huts and use their service, by liking and sharing their videos, you're going to draw traffic to their websites and their media. And, you know, and that's a really small way to help out local businesses, because they go out of their way to do their ice safety checks for us. And so let's help them out by liking and sharing their videos. And it's great information. So shout out to John and all the others out there who are doing great work and keeping us safe.
100%.
Yeah.
You got something similar like that out in Ottawa, Lawrence, that you guys...
You know, I used to do it. For Lindy Lures. They had they set up a website, and they picked. I was a pro staff with them at the time before they were sold off. But they had pro staff from all over North America sending in audio weather reports and ice reports like twice a week, and you just had to dial this number, put in your code, and then it all got disseminated over this website. And I did that for 3.5 years, I think. And then I like everything, you know, companies change, management changes, new focus, new profile. But I think that's, you know, we get that now with the Ottawa ice fishing, 613 ice fishing, and these Facebook forums, these little local Facebook groups, right? They that's where you get this sort of real-time local information.
100%. And as I said, with the Anglers Atlas, we are hoping to bridge that gap when it comes to angler know-how and what our biologists and our scientists are craving for, which is information, raw data. Nobody loves if you're in the biologist game, you love raw data, right, Jay?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I can comment to a couple of posts in here actually. Like, and one is from Ed McKenzie, you know, asking about the walleye fishery on Lake Scugog. And I think right now there's a lack of data, Ed. I don't know for sure. I haven't actually followed up on it myself. I'm not involved in it professionally, but like with most things that go on in the province, fisheries related, I always have a personal interest, not just professional interest. I don't know what's going on with the Scugog walleye, but I know the ministry is out doing surveys, but I'm not sure where we're at in terms of reopening that fishery right now. Another great comment about fisheries is I'll just chime in about Christina's comment here about the bait regulation changes. You know, everyone has to understand that, you know, in Ontario, we're very fortunate to have live bait. Okay. So as anglers and as live bait sellers and retailers and live bait wholesalers, you know, there's a lot of money out there. However, in most provinces, live bait is heavily restricted and a lot of times not permitted at all. And so the new regulations are in play now as of January 1st, 2022. I encourage everyone to pick up a copy of the current fishing regulations, which are out, available online. I actually save a copy to my phone. The bait management zones, it's actually relatively straightforward from what I understand. And I'm going to give everyone a word of caution here. Do not take my word as gospel, because I'm still trying to sort it out for myself. It basically works like this. You have your various bait management zones. if you're allowed to move bait within that zone. Now, the southern zone, which is zone 16, 17, and 18, and 19 and 20. So like all the fisheries management zones in the southern part of Ontario are part of the same bait management zone. That's all one huge zone. So if I want to buy bait in Hamilton and take it to Quinte, I can, because it's coming from Lake Ontario, basically. Like they've tried to link all the zones that if you're in the Great Lakes Basin, invasive species are invasive species. They're moving freely between anyways. The real hiccup for Southern Ontario anglers is zone 15. This is what I've, from my own research. Zone 15, which is basically just north of zone 16. So everything from, like, let's talk about the Muskokas, Haliburton, Minden, Bancroft area. All that area up into Algonquin Park. That's zone 15. You just can't now stop at, Epps on Highway 11, because you can't buy bait from Epps and take it into zone 15. You can't, because Epps is in zone 16. You have to have a receipt of purchase. And even if those minnows are alive or dead, that receipt's only good for 2 weeks. Okay. So these are some of the finer details. We could almost do an entire show on this, but I don't know enough about it and I don't want to get it wrong. But I will say this: if you're going into zone 15, please buy your bait in zone 15. If you're going to go into zone 15, you need to do your research, because there's not a lot of bait shops in zone 15. But there are some. There's a couple bait shops in Gravenhurst. There is a bait shop in Minden. I'm sorry, I don't know the names. And I think there's one in Norland, which is just inside zone 15, going up 35. Do some research on the bait shops. I think what you'll see in Ontario, Scotty, is you're going to see more bait shops open in zone 15, even if it's like gas stations selling minnows, so that they can keep anglers supplied with bait in zone 15. And I think they're doing that in zone 15 because there are a lot of lakes in zone 15 that have natural lake trout, natural brook trout, and things like that. And they want to keep the invasive species out of those lakes. I think that's why they've made that decision.
I think that's the only real decision, Jay, to me, that is poignant in all of the questions asked when it comes to the new regs with the bait anglers and bait fishermen, the commercial ones especially, is that it's a wait and see, really, because at the end of the day, I know Steve has asked, do you think this is the start of phasing out live bait? I know in some provinces, Kevin was talking about it. It's what's happening in Manitoba, and perhaps, Steve, we are going down a road that we might not turn around.
Yeah.
And that, I guess that's the thing. Everybody wants change and they want it immediate. Well, if there's anything when it comes to nature, it's never immediate, and you don't want it to be immediate. You want it to be gradual. This to me is something that should have been started a while back when zebra mussels became a thing, in terms of restricting the amount of water that is transported, because I don't necessarily think that it's the bait fish that is the problem. It's actually the water.
Well, that brings up that whole new regulations about moving boats too, right? Like, there's all sorts of new regulations about moving boats, and you can get, if you don't make sure you drain your live wells, your hull, pull out your plug, empty your live wells, and check your trailer for any hanging weeds, invasive species that might be hanging on your trailer. You can get charged. You can get charged if you show up at a lake and you have that when you're launching at a new lake. And you got to do this. You do this when you leave. Like when you're leaving the lake that you were just at, you pull all the weeds off, you look underneath, you pull all your plugs, you drain it out, because where you got it is right there where you were just fishing. So you can get it all out of there now. And if you get home too and you give it a little wash, when you're washing your boat, give the trailer, the suspension, the wheels and all the brakes, all that a good hosing too, because if you show up now at another lake and there's someone inspecting and they see there's an invasive species hanging on your trailer, and you can get a pretty stiff fine.
Yeah, it's true. And you know what? I will say this too. A-Rod is bang on when he talks about we need better options at launches when it comes to cleanup stations. If anything, just room. I mean, it'd be great to have running water. But absolutely, just room, so that we're not we're not rushed as we are. And I mean, I don't know about the rest of you folks, but when it comes to the differences, the immediate differences that I see between the U.S. and American waters is the amount of detail and emphasis that they go to when it comes to their launches down on the American side.
No, they're beautiful.
Oh,
They're beautiful. Yeah.
Incredible.
Our boat launches around here are boat wreckers. I mean, that's all angle iron and welding and big bolts sticking out and rusty nail heads. You approach those, with trepidation. I mean, if you got a nice boat with a nice, logos or paint job, you got to be so careful, so careful.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many things I've knocked off the side of my boat.
Well, and listen, Lawrence, I think everybody's guilty of it. Before we even knew what the heck it was. We were probably knocking them off our trailers and our boats.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. And to me, it just raises the awareness. Now, does it perhaps introduce new ideas or maybe there's a need, as Jay was talking about new bait shops? I know Richard Dunlop just said they need one in Arnprior. Perhaps down in our area we don't really have any in the GTA necessarily. We have to go to Vaughan or down into Toronto, but like where I am in Mississauga and Brampton, there's no bait shops here. But
and when they pop up, support them, right? Go and buy your bait there from these guys, because man, they're mom and pop operations. People quit their jobs, they pour all their savings into setting these things up. It isn't cheap. And support them and promote them and let people know about them. It's they're as good as they make money, and as they're making money, they're going to keep us all in bait, and they're doing a good job. I was watching Texas Rangers, on Discovery Channel, and they were checking out some bait shops, and one of them, they had a virus outbreak in the minnows, and someone picked up a bucket full of minnows and took it to this lake, and they introduced the virus into the lake, killed everything in the lake.
Come on.
Everything in the lake.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and on that, like, that's the biggest thing. It's not so much, it's the invasive species. It's these new viruses. It's bacteria. It is not just gobies we're talking about here. There's so much more to be worried about. I did share a link in the chat for some upcoming webinars that I know that anglers are going to want to check out. If you go to invadingspecies.com, they're free webinars. They're very informative. They have one coming up on bait fish and one coming up on the new boating regulations around invasive species. And both of them are this month. It's a Zoom call. You can sign up. And I do believe if you can't make the call, they do replay them on their YouTube channels later. But I highly recommend everybody, if you can, chime into those Zoom calls, because they're highly informative. And I know I'll be listening in, because I want to hear about how they came to some of their decisions around bait. And I know that for and I know some of the policymakers around bait in Ontario, and they fully recognize that there are a lack of shops in some zones, and this will be a struggle for the first year or two. It's really hard, though, for someone, I was thinking about this, guys, like, how do you say you can't be that proactive about this? And what I mean is, you can't walk into like zone 15 and say, okay, we need you guys to open up some bait shops because we're going to change the regulations. It doesn't happen like that. The regulations have to change first, because you can't convince people to start a business without, but if you have a good bait shop in a good location, like if someone wants to put a bait shop on Highway 11 or Highway 400 going north in zone 15, you're going to do well, as long as there's enough suppliers for bait in zone 15. That's the kicker too, because the bait has to come from zone 15. So it's, it's twofold there, but let's hope that happens. There's opportunity here if someone wants to take a hold of it.
Hey, if you want to link to those videos, it's in the last issue of the Bluefish News on bluefishcanada.ca. And we also, if you want to get some tips, we have some pretty comprehensive tips on fishing sustainably through the ice and staying safe on the ice. And that's on the Bluefish Canada. And I asked Jason if he'd share a link to that as well. Jason, you help me.
in the chat right now, Lawrence.
Yeah, you looked at those last year and came up with some input on that as well, if I recall. And I appreciate that for doing that, man. And but I got a question for the listeners, and this came up in my ice fishing last week. We had kids as young as 3 or 4, all the way up to full grown adults. So, what size hole do you fish through? When there's kids around with different species of fish, because I've done 6, 8. I went up to 10 for a little while, almost killed myself, went back down to 8. Now I'm back down to 6. What do you guys like?
Well, I think for me, straight up, it has a lot to do with the thickness of the ice. I don't think anybody would argue that the bigger the hole, the better it is. Some would argue that the holes, they can't be holes. They have to be squares if they're sight fishing, if they're bringing in large fish. But I would say the majority of the holes that I use are 10. But it has a lot to do with how thick the ice is, because the last thing you want to be is on a drill for an hour drilling 10-inch holes in 2.5 feet of ice.
My gas auger came with a 10-inch blade, and I realized after my friend put his foot through the 10-inch hole, and then I put my foot through the 10-inch hole, that never happened to me. But I went right down, like my leg went right down and filled my boot, and I had to lie on my back because I had to sort of wiggle my foot to get it out of there without losing my boot. And I realized, holy shit, no wonder people are calling that they want to put an end to 10-inch ice fishing holes. Someone called them, a friend of mine called them man killers, these 10-inch holes. But a little kid could drop through one of those holes. They're so big. I mean, when it's inside a fixed hut, I agree. Bigger the hole, the better. But when you're running around, like our kids were running around, and kids were running around everywhere, and even my 8-inch hole, I brought a couple augers, and the kids drilled all 6-inch holes. They all got to drill their own hole, but I like a little bit bigger hole, and then I have to sit to make sure my line doesn't, I don't turn a little bit, and my line gets stuck to the side of the hole. So I always sit, get just right there, get it in the middle of my 8-inch fishing hole. I get up and my foot almost goes through, and another guy, my buddy, yells over, "See, man killer!" But there's not much you can't get through a 6-inch hole, I think.
No, I would agree, but I also know too, when it comes to the amount of holes one drills. I know Jay likes to drill as many as he can possibly drill, to a point where I don't think there's any ice left, from what Alicia's told me. I'm just kidding. Anyway, for you, is an 8-inch hole the norm for you?
No, so when I'm chasing panfish, I'm using a 6-inch auger for a couple of reasons. One, I can drill faster. 2, I use less. I'm using mostly power drills. Down here in the south, we don't tend to get a lot of real thick ice, like more than 12 inches. So I'm just using a Milwaukee hammer drill and a 6-inch K drill. That's it. Actually, it's 6.5 inches. So the way K drill does it, they do 6.5, 7.5, and 8.5. So my 6.5-inch K drill gets 90% play time for when I'm out. Now, there's the occasional fish that won't fit through a 6.5-inch hole. Last year, Trevor hooked into a huge largemouth in a small reservoir that we were fishing, wouldn't fit through the hole. I've had issues with big walleye won't fit through a hole. You'd be surprised how big of a pike can go through a 6.5-inch hole, just body shape. But when I go up to an 8.5 or 8 or 8.5-inch hole, that's about as big as I go, because for a lot of the fishing I'm doing, a 10-inch auger would get very little use. But if I go lake trout fishing, my 8.5-inch K drill will cover most of those applications. A 10-inch hole is optimal, but an 8-inch hole, I think, is about as big as you need to go for most applications. Even the largest walleye, I've pulled 30-inch walleye through an 8-inch hole. Mm-hmm. It's not easy. You got to be careful, and you got to get them lined up just right. And you get a wet arm. You get a wet arm doing it, because I've reached down and steered them through the hole, because you just can't turn them. But I've done it. But if you're going to target large fish, a 10-inch hole is probably where you want to go. But Lawrence makes a good point. I can tell you of several kids who have lost winter boots in 10-inch holes. because they're walking along and their whole their foot, their little size 5s is like 8 inches long, and they fit right down a 10-inch hole. I've seen it. So not both feet together, but 1 foot, and they end up with 1 foot on the ice and 1 foot down the hole. I've seen it many times over the years, my kids included. So
what I figured out the hard way is when you're fishing through 2 feet of ice, right? You put your leg through that hole. You know, your foot goes into that hole. You get your foot on the edge of the hole, and it slips in. Your toes pointed down. It goes down. But if you think about your knee and your way it bends, it only bends one way out of the 4 ways. It doesn't bend left or right or forwards. Yeah. So you go down, and then your body is moving in another direction. Your leg is now a square peg in a round hole. Yeah. It's not like you're falling on the ice and you're just rolling. Your leg is now stuck in that hole in a very fixed position. If you tilt one way to the right, to the left, or forward, you can cause some serious knee injury pretty fast. If you're lucky, you fall backwards on your ass, and then you're sitting on the ice with your leg in the hole, pointed straight down. But that's if you're lucky. You got 75% chance. 75% chance you're going to fall the wrong way and cause some serious injury to the knees. That's why people are calling for banning 10-inch holes.
Yeah,
I'd agree. I would agree.
I'll give it. And Mark Beeler makes a great point in the chat room about, you can use a 6 and why I bought a K-drill years ago is for this purpose. It has a chipper style blade, not a cutting blade. And I can make a cloverleaf pattern or similar type of pattern with a K-drill without damaging the blades. Pretty easy. So I can actually combine, like I could take, 3 6-inch holes, make a clover leaf, and now I have a large hole if I want to go for that couple of trips a year where I'm going to go catch, target large lake trout or a large walleye. That's what's nice about the chipper blades on the K-drills. If you try to do that, you can do that with any auger you want, any small auger. But the cutting style blades, it's really hard on them when you're doing that kind of arrangement. I find the chipper blades tend to work a little easier, and the chipper blades tend to last a little bit longer if I want to reopen old holes and stuff. That's why I bought the K-drill. It does work a little harder than the other augers out there, and I have no relationship with K-drill. I just like the product. They work really well, but yeah, if you want to make a larger hole and all you have is a 6-inch auger, you can clover leaf them together to make a larger hole for that once in a while when you need to.
Well, this was my advice: is it's a lot easier to drill the hole before you start fishing than once you've caught a giant and then try and do it.
Yeah,
that's why I've always said in all the years that I've been in construction, I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. So to me, having the ability to use a K-drill where you have that chipper option, it makes cloverleafs a lot easier than it was in the past. And I'll tell you, when you hook Lakers, and I love this that Ed McKenzie brings up, because who has not been in this situation? I've stuck 2 eyes in an 8-inch hole, like stuck, and then remove the hook and push it back down the same hole.
Yep.
Yeah. Done that. Been there.
Well, I've seen the guides on Quinty and Ottawa River. They'll just get on their knees, roll up their sleeve or not, and they'll just shove their arm down the hole. As soon as they see the head, they just shove their arm down the hole, grab it by the gills, and pull it out. And I think that's pretty cool, right? And I would tell my kids, okay, if we got a big wall, like one of you guys got to do that, because you got to, if it's a really big and you got a 6-inch hole, you got to get your arm down there. And I said, who's doing it? I'm challenging them. Who's doing it?
Now for us klutzy anglers out there, 10-inch hole is a bigger target than a 6-inch hole. So cell phones, car keys, okay. So there's a lot more potential for people to lose things in a 10-inch hole than a 6-inch hole. I'm just saying. So
chippers.
If you're not, I am so scared of losing something down an ice hole. I have storage all around me. Nothing is loose on my body. Like my phone goes in a pocket I specifically buy stuff with zippers and good pockets to put my phone in and I still have close calls every year. I haven't lost one yet, but I'll tell you, it's going to happen. And the bigger the hole, the bigger the target. And I've been close.
I lost one of the poles, the spreader poles. On windy days, you put on your flip over to keep the tension, the tautness in the between the parallel bars, you get the spreader bars. I lost one of those once taking off, and I thought I put it down, and it just tipped and right down the hole. God, in a heartbeat. Hey, I got a question, you guys. Did you ever troll on ice? Where they take a chainsaw and they cut a perfect circle in the ice, right? And then they drill a few holes on that pie-shaped circle. And then one of those holes, they mount a small outboard motor, electric or gas. And then on the other hole, you drop a few lines down with some crankbaits or something, spoons, and they start up the motor. And then that big circle starts to spin real slow, and you're trolling down beneath.
Yep.
Have you tried that?
I've never done that. I've trolled pressure cracks though. Like
Are you really?
I've gone on Simcoe on a pressure crack. I did it last year with Alicia, TJ, and Trevor. There was a pressure crack late in March. And you could literally, it wasn't that open. I want to say that maybe the gap was like maybe 10 or 12 inches. And it was late in the season, so the ice was real smooth right up to the crack. So like we could walk along with our slab grabbers, and I'm pretty sure Trevor did catch a perch through that pressure crack, like just strolling along and just jigging that slab grabber along the pressure crack.
Nice way to cover territory.
Yeah.
I would have to say though, Lawrence, to your, if you're going to that extent of fishing, to me, you're going above and beyond what normal hard water anglers do. To me, that's like a hold my beer moment.
It is. There's it is. That's exactly what it is.
I've often gone into huts where it's been an outfitter, and they obviously drill a big hole because the last thing they want is their guests to have to waste time drilling holes. So they make sure a nice big hole is there for you. And I've often thought if I can fit in the hole, this is no longer fishing. This is like we got to keep Scotty out of the water because guaranteed, just like Alicia said about cell phones, they will find a way in the hole, and I will find a way to fall in. I'm guaranteed. So,
are you a floater or a sinker, Scotty? Like everyone's either a floater or a sinker.
The problem is I will sink slow enough that first breath that I'm going to need will be underwater, and I'll die.
Oh boy! Yeah.
So
everyone's either a floater or a sinker.
Trust me, I got lots
of floater.
To float. I got lots to float, but unfortunately, when I need that first breath, I'll be underwater. And how do I know? Because I've tried it many times.
Oh boy!
Now, I actually before we get too far off here, I want to go back to one of Mark Beeler's comments in the chat, and I don't want to bring up negative stuff. And I know I'm wearing a Lake Simcoe Power Box hat that Trevor got me, or Santa got me for Christmas this year. I'm probably not going to fish Lake Simcoe this year.
Why?
The whole in Aurelia, the whole parking situation up there. I'm not going to bother with it. That's just me. I'll go to an outfitter, but I will not go on my own to try and figure out where to park and stuff. It is just a nightmare up there right now.
Yeah,
it is.
And I'm trying to look for the comment because it wasn't something that we were necessarily talking about at the time anyway. But like you, I wanted to go back there, so I'm glad you did. Unfortunately, there's a lot of comments tonight, so I am.
That's okay.
There you go. So yeah, ice conditions on Simcoe don't matter because you aren't going to be able to fish it anyway. There is nowhere to park now. They have shut down all parking on the whole east and west north side of the lake. Now,
and they have crazy rules around like hours of day. Like you can fish, like you can park in some spots, but only between like noon and 8 p.m. You can't go there in the morning. Lawrence, it's really gotten out of hand. I really think that the townships around Lake Simcoe, and I don't know them all, and I don't want to point fingers too much without being properly informed on everything. But from what I've heard from good sources, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to find and access the ice. What it will lead to probably is more people parking on the ice, which we know where that goes.
Yeah.
I will support outfitters, and I look forward to going up to Lake Simcoe and supporting an outfitter or two. And personally, I'm so far from Lake Simcoe that I would rather go with an outfitter because especially one who suits what I want to do, which I might want to move around. I might want to, do something. I don't want to just park in a hut all day, to be
A
honest.
morning here, an afternoon there, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I'm willing to do that, but I will support them. But or even just to go park, I will pay them to park.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pay $50 to a parking meter for the city of Aurelia, for example. That's not going to happen. So it is disappointing.
Yeah,
I will look into it more, but yeah, Lake Simcoe and Lake Couchiching are going to be a tough, and we will find out more because this is happening right now, and people are going to be heading up there in the next week because Couchiching is going to, by this weekend, Couchiching will have safe ice, and people will be out there. Simcoe not so much, but Couchiching for sure. So I'm sure we'll start to see some of the updates from angry, irritated anglers and maybe landowners. I don't know. So,
well, good news. We got the ice castles are being brought out onto the Ottawa River this week.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, some of these things, like a friend of mine, he's Ottawa River guided fishing. He owns that Yannick Loringer. He's been building these ice castles, right? They're 24 feet long, 12 feet wide. He brings a tow truck, brings him down to the edge of the boat launch, and then he drags them out with his Dodge Ram with chains on the wheels. He drags them out on the ice, and they have 50-inch flat screen TVs, fridges. They sleep 6 to 8 people. He puts an outhouse out there, and you rent them for $500 a night, and he gives you all the equipment you need. There's like ice fishing holes in there. First one he ever built, he invited me to come out and write an article about it and put it on some of the forums and tourism sites around here. So he told me about this thing. So I said, yeah, I'll do that. So I got off the phone. I called all my friends. Meet me at Clarence Bay. And it was so much fun. We had pizza coming out at 1 a.m. We had our tip ups outside. He's got floodlights built on these things, a generator out there. We're fishing inside, we're fishing outside. It was a beautiful night and these things are all booked up already. They're booked up the year before. All weekends are booked up because exactly what I did, just to get away with your buddies. Maybe not this year, but you can do it with a family. But he's also renting them out for the day, just $150 for the day, and he supplies all the minnows, all the tackle. He gets everything going for you. Just a chance to get away with your family and do something fun on the ice, something a little bit different, right? When it's cold out, and it gets cold out here. But this, are you putting these shacks though where the fish are? Or are you putting them where they're safe and they're not going to fall through the ice?
Yeah, true enough. No, 100%.
Ice castles, they're amazing.
You are right, Lawrence, in regards to, getting back to what, to me, ice fishing is all about. It's about building community. If you are that guy that likes to sit in your hut and it's just quiet time for you yourself, that's fine. Certainly not passing judgment, but I do like to get out on the ice, share a few stories, share a few laughs, and catch a few fish, and maybe cook something. And unfortunately, with our buddy COVID, we're not really able to do much, but I'm hoping that changes real soon.
Yeah. Even so I got a bit of cash back in the fall for my birthday, and actually I put it towards a second buddy heater because I upgraded to a larger Eskimo insulated hub last year. I never sold my 3-man Eskimo hub from before. I did it on purpose because during this pandemic, I hate to bring it up, but you know what? I want to be able to still take people ice fishing with me. And if they're not comfortable inside of my hut with me, I will set up, I have a second hut that they can fish beside me. And I have a lot of friends who really want to try ice fishing this year. And I am prepared, Trevor and I will, honestly, to cart out a second heater and a second hub is not a big deal, to be honest. And I have lots of extra sleds if somebody wants to join us. I'm not saying it's an open invite to everyone that's listening in right now, but there are some friends and family that I've been trying to get out ice fishing that I want to try this year. And if it means I need a second pop-up, that's what I'll do. So I haven't sold any of my stuff. I've been upgrading some stuff, but I haven't got rid of stuff just because I want to have it handy.
Once you sell it, it's gone, man. You can't never get it back.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Yeah.
especially now, everything's disappearing. Everything's gone up in price. Holy smokes. No, absolutely, Christina. It is awesome of Jay to do that.
Yeah.
And truly, that's what we want all of our legacies to be at the end of the day, is getting folks out fishing. And, kudos to Lawrence, kudos to Jay for doing that and spending what has been, and I can't believe it because you blink and it's gone, more than an hour with us. Can't thank you two enough. As I said at the very beginning, our thoughts are with our big buddy Jim.
Yeah, Tammy.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some good news real soon in regards to that. But as I said, keep your thoughts with that family. And if you are going out hard water fishing this weekend, we just want to see the pics. Stay safe, have fun, have a great time. Be mindful of that ice. Be mindful of the new regs. Be mindful that it's a new year and your license may have expired. And don't get caught out on the ice.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll encourage everyone listening in, like that, the link we shared, Lawrence's sustainable ice fishing tips,
Bluefish Canada tips. They're not mine. I just put them together, but they're all contributed by scientists and seasoned anglers, people you hear on this show and others.
Share them to your media streams, because it's not just us who are on this call. A lot of us on this call, the viewers that are here, we don't need to be reminded of what's in that package. I think that's important to share with people who may not know. There's going to be people right now with what's going on in this world that are dying to do something else. I have a lot of friends right now who team sports have hockey shut down as of today, minor hockey. I'm going to be busy taking kids ice fishing the next month. I guarantee it. It's going to happen. So let's help people get outdoors. Let's help people go ice fishing, and let's do it safely. So keep sharing that information, that package that from Bluefish Radio is going to be helpful for a lot of people to have. So please share that around.
More new anglers this year and last year than ever before. It's a 15-20% jump in numbers. And these are people that have never fished before. They need our help. They need our guidance. Otherwise, they're going to get frustrated and they're going to give it up, real fast. So, and let's make sure they have a good time.
100%. That's why shows like this, I can't thank you guys enough for doing this. And Yvonne, with her ladies segment, we're going to be doing some more around the fireside chats with Jim and some of his guests. We have a whole bunch of stuff planned for 2022. And for that reason right there, Lawrence, that we have so many anglers that are new to the sport that we want to pass on the passion. And the only way you can do that is to educate them, give them the confidence that they're going to catch fish. Otherwise, you know what? It's like a kid watching a movie. And in the first 5 seconds, he doesn't like what he's watching. He's going to turn the channel and watch something else. Let's keep them fishing. Let's keep them engaged. And let's keep folks catching fish, because that's the most important part to all of this. Gentlemen, can't thank you enough.
Thanks, guys.
Good job, man.
With a word from our sponsor, but I look forward to seeing you guys next Monday. And until then, everybody stay safe. Love you all. All the best. Take care.
Right, bye, everyone. See you next week.
Ciao.
When it comes to Canadian food, we've got your back with flavors like lemon pepper, beer batter, campfire barbecue, lemon pepper dill, garlic butter and chives, and crispy Cajun. We've got a mix for every meal. Whether you're serving East Coast shrimp, West Coast salmon, succulent walleye, chicken wings, or veggies, we've got you covered. Coat your food in outdoor flavors. Available online or at these fine retailers.